potato storage facility is built for 30,000 tons. Here, the ventilation system is forced. All container storage is in the Cosmo ventilation system. Boxes and containers are stacked in 6 rows high.
Fountains.
Yes.
Are the seeds yours or you?
No, we planted the elites. This is the first reproduction. Last minute. Seeds are indeed necessary. So we removed the foliage earlier. Well, if we made cats from this, it's not as large. But there are certainly large ones. But this is indeed the main seed fraction. Not the seed fraction. Well above average. Yes. Due to Russia's closure, Kazakhstan certainly raised prices. And all of this is now related to loans. But our volumes, well, Agrover's volumes, the weather does not affect this. On the contrary, we are currently focusing on wholesale prices, which I would say are somewhere between 45 and 50 cents per kilogram. Well, naturally, logistics also welcomes us. Welcome. Our enterprise would be tired of potatoes. A person from Markaza. This in Russian is referred to as the potato center. This was the idea after. If you know, until 2016, 2017, we had 3 exchange rates. Market rates on the street, then bank rates, and then stock exchange rates. After that, in 2017, they said everything would be at the market exchange rate. And accordingly, the import of seeds from the Netherlands or from Russia or Europe became unaffordable for farmers. And there was an idea to implement a secondary seed production project in the foothills. That is, elite seeds are brought in, planted, and the first products are obtained, and this is realized. This enterprise was created on this basis. We launched in 2019, have 2,000 hectares of land. This is irrigated. That is, and out of them, about 500, 600 hectares. Depending on the placement, we plant potatoes, commercial and seed. This is seed potatoes, this is Fontaine Elite, brought in from the Netherlands, and this is the first reproduction. Samples, Vimit. The storage capacity is 30,000 tons, simultaneous storage, but
we haven't reached 30,000 tons yet. Last year it was approximately 22,000 tons. We have what we call average potatoes, which we plant in April and harvest approximately around August. The late potatoes were planted approximately around June. We planted in June, and now the harvest is ongoing. There is a small area of about 30 hectares that we planted in July, but that's a bit later. If the weather allows, we harvest a bit later. This year we planted 550 hectares of potatoes, about 150 of which are early, mainly in April, and about 400 hectares are late, planted approximately around June. The yield seems good, and the price is favorable because, as I mentioned, there are rumors that Russia has closed its exports and Kazakhstan has raised prices. Since 2017, as the conversion has changed, this market has become common, meaning that the price in Russia also influences the local market. So, consider that your price plus $100 for transportation and about $15 to $20 for customs clearance, and then there's the margin of this specific market. Everyone can import potatoes, but we mainly focus on our retail network in Uzbekistan, which takes the bulk of our supply. They have criteria for calibration and sizes, so if there are any defects, we sell those on the market. The seed prices also depend on the potato prices. If the price is low, it's hard to teach farmers about this. First, a farmer might plant 2 hectares and go to the market to buy small seeds. If the price is higher, he sells it for $600 per day. Farm product from you. If you don't have $600, it's unlikely the farmer buys it. No. Our price is around $500. Are we buying for $500? We are buying how much? At approximately $500, not just for around 1,000 tons. We need it ourselves. There are various other varieties as well, such as different types, etc. And more, in fact, indeed. Questions and concerns? We are not completely overwhelmed with our current storage solutions and systems. We are going to box storage solutions and systems. You might know everything there. Not Polish, Integra, I think. Polish, yes. Storage. This is for Who knows how much he bought it? Who knows? Interesting. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Yes. Welcome. Compared to when we were here 5 years ago, there was still construction. We are still building calibration for seeds. Yes.
Yes, this is, well, we have this particularity, you see. November is rainy for us. Yes, here if you saw, the potatoes come in wet. If we don't dry them, then other problems arise. They start to rot. So our task is to collect them quickly, like tomorrow. Today we plan to work until we can. Yes, until 12 now. We will have a pause for a couple of days. And then again, that is after the rain, the potatoes come in with some problems, or they need to be dried quickly. The support is removed, we stack them, immediately close it, and immediately ventilation, blowing. Do you grow seeds in this average harvest? No, not late spring. It doesn't typically work with the average because even in the month of August, we generally and usually plant in April. If it works out, we can even plant in March. Well, it depends on the weather. I'm talking about the current situation. And near Tashkent, you can safely plant in March. This potatoes ripens around June. In Surkandarya, which is in the south of Uzbekistan, you can plant in February. And it ripens around the end of May, something like that. Yes, it was planted in June. It's difficult to get seeds from the middle because the skin doesn't form, and then it's all ready. And drink there, in short, everything was fine in June this year. No, well, it happens. It's like if you're lucky, yes. If you're not lucky, this year we harvested during the day when the weather allowed us to use the combine during the day. There were years when we couldn't harvest during the day because the potatoes would start to blacken right away. So we harvested at night. That is, the equipment would go out into the field at sunset and we harvested at night. What is this patching? There are quite a few families with training experience with a combine. Grimmel, yes, Svishka, such big ones. Stones, definitely. Are these stones? Stones. From the field, this is a real stone. This is not soil. This is a stone. This is a stone. Trouble. No. Look, we were throwing it out. And then we had to plow and prepare the soil again. No, I mean on the combine, stop. In the field. Then next time you will take it. Don't get stuck here in the field. In general, oh, that's right. Yes, and they still appear. Still, I don't know how the loosening of the soil happens because it lifts the rock from below with clay. Yes, we mainly have this largest one. It's 30,000 tons. In Tashkent, there are 10 tons, I think. After lunch, you will be there where the factory is. Then, where we started, it's also in the Tashkent region called Busu. There are 7,000 tons, I think. In total, we have about 47,000, yes, 30. This one chamber can store about 500 tons. This is for 1 day. Well, I'm lying, about 2 days to remember. And now it's 12 o'clock. We started around 9 and we'll work until about 11 or 12. We need to give ventilation steps to work now. You are watering, not now. We already have watering. In Uzbekistan, without irrigation, nothing grows. The rains end around April, May. And that's it. It's all irrigation. If you saw on the road, we call it Israeli. Yes, this mini sprinkler. We tried drip irrigation, but it's labor intensive, especially for large areas. If it's 5 to 10 hectares, it can work. But over 100 hectares, it's difficult to install and dismantle. We stopped at this sprinkler. It cools the foliage and creates the most optimal option. We now have circular ones somewhere. There are 2 circular machines, but our areas don't allow it, where there are fields, potatoes, hardly grow there. How much is the late harvest now? It's about 30, 35 now. These are the seeds. Even 28 comes out because we did dissection with Reglan. And this is the seed fraction we got. Just yesterday we harvested Arizona. It turned out like this, giving about 40 already. From the variety Zayats, the average yield is somewhere between 28 and 35 this year, which is about average compared to last year. No, on the contrary. The late varieties give us a normal yield, but the early ones don't produce much. This is due to the heat, and there are many losses. The autumn yield is more or less normal. The question is about Agrico Arizona. I have a field of 250 hectares that is not being used. And Victor's average yield is around 30. The field is 30, 20, 30. But there are fields where we only use a digger. We can't use a combine due to the layout. There are fields 2.5 kilometers long. We started from here. And now we are waiting for furniture to be ordered. And everything will move here. This is purely, it's a mess here. This is all managed. The reception is only for a simple bunker, not for the combine. Packaging, washing. Yes, I couldn't. There is no packaging, packaging. Calibration and sorting. Packaging is about 10 tons. I think a maximum of 10 tons. Then you have a polisher. No. Manual labor for now allows us to proceed. We are going from there. Well, we still don't know if there will be a demand or not. We treated the small ones. These are large seeds that we lowered for packaging. No, we have washing for now. There is a need, but it's still small. We only have elite large ones coming in for food packaging. And yours are more expensive than the white ones. The red ones are more expensive. Yes. They are almost the same, no difference. These fractions are already the second reproduction. The large ones go to the factory and the small ones are for sale. So this goes to the buyer, right? Yes. This fraction is taken by chip manufacturers. Chips, these are fountains. They take the small ones for chips. Where do they go?
I'll show you later. Belarusians sell potatoes on Vitsk, chick. Haven't you seen? No. 3.5, 4, and 2. He washes it, packs it. It says chick potatoes cut, salt, pepper, Bake in the oven for 30 minutes, rustic style. Is that right? Yes. And they sell it in Russia for 65 rubles per kilogram.
After lunch, you will see at the factory that we also have a line of rustic style potatoes. They take this one, and we have a sharp one, and this one is with the skin. Rustic style, there with the skin. Just like this. Well, my job is to essentially grow the potatoes. As for how and in what form they are sold, if this is a sales specialist, he gives the task on which fraction to divide, and then he implements it himself.
The effectiveness is very good, especially in the composition. The population increases by 1 million every year, with an increase of 500, 600,000 in potato consumption. Central Asia has the largest population in Uzbekistan. Now I believe it's about 37 million. In 2 to 3 years, the population will reach 40 million. Therefore, as they say, the government understands that it needs to support potato farming. In the initial stage, we received a lot of help. They prepared the land and provided it. We currently have 5,000 hectares and we are planting 200 now. We allocate 40% for processing, 40% for markets. And we sell almost nothing on the open market, mainly to networks and processors. And in Pakistan, is there anyone who has started moving in this direction as an example? Well, there isn't an industrial chain yet. No, it's clear that at least in agriculture, there are some large players involved. No, we have clusters. We call them clusters, meaning there are producers. We have many clusters for vegetables, meaning the processor is involved in freezing or drying. He collaborates with the farmer, meaning he orders from farmers, provides them with plants. They grow them, and then he buys them back conditionally. We also want to develop along this scheme without expanding land. It would be possible to expand with them, but it's very expensive and the risks are high. Keeping a lot of people requires paying salaries, so we want to work through cooperation. Well, sometimes we gain, sometimes we don't. There are farmers who meet the conditions and there are farmers who do not meet the conditions. The large potato growers, I have about 30 hectares, the largest ones, also small ones. Approximately 30 hectares, very small in size. According to statistics, we plant all crops. This is a subsidiary farm. Just yesterday, 125,000 hectares were discarded from us. No, our agriculture will occupy 4 million in Uzbekistan. Well, mainly it's cotton, a very large area. Yes, yes, yes. If we count the total plantings we have, well, look, the reason we included processing is that we have a long planting period and a long harvesting period. That is, we have land in Surkandarya, which is a southern region. We can start planting there in January. Right now we are preparing seeds to make the January planting. 15% are general plantings, then come the February ones. We are almost approaching the Tashkent region. We have March plantings, April plantings, which start from the foothill areas. Where were you during the installation? In the lowlands we create in April and in May. Then comes the repetition. From June, the replanting begins. After the wheat, when we harvest the wheat, we already talk about these lands for replanting. This is already June, July, and we cover a little bit of August. In August, of course, we only need fast maturing, good varieties that would manage somehow. This is mainly, well, earlier. Now we have somewhat lost the seeds ourselves. The main one is Colombo. Quickly, from the river we create Selvana there. We also create from the flatbread. From red varieties, mainly Evolution ESME for table purposes. Well, we have a little asterisk for processing. Well, it is a little white in color. There is a client who wants white and fries. We make it without breading, purely without anything. We position ourselves as a more natural product, so we haven't added breading yet. But the breading market is growing, meaning they want it to be with spices, of course, with those. So breading, of course, expands our options, meaning that in principle, any potato can be processed with breading. No, KFC has strict rules without breading. There are very strict conditions on the oil so that the brush uses sunflower oil, so that even those, what are they called, additives are followed, levels are checked, very strict. Well, they have a complex specification. No, we have a lot of chains. Yes, Horeca is developing quickly. We have national chains like Lavash Burgers, Lavash Centers. They are very widely spread among international ones. There are many, they mainly enter pizza places. There are many chain restaurants. Well, you know, our main one is, it's like national cuisine, right? National cuisine is developing very well. I sometimes wonder how much can be changed in our cuisine. You can also see the word variety in different cooking methods with lamb. Therefore, they also use fries. They are already getting used to frozen fries. The market is growing very quickly, especially the consumption of frozen fries. So we have a lively hope that we will see growth now. The only thing is that production needs to be expanded. No, our potato consumption culture is changing, and we hope everything will be fine. Right now, we are in the expansion phase, and we are currently working on land restructuring. That is, we are switching to drip irrigation. We understand that there will be a problem with water, more and more each year. Therefore, we are now converting everything. Out of 5,000 hectares, we have already converted 3,000. We hope that in 2-3 years we will have everything irrigated and ready to work. We are now urgently planting potatoes using sprinkler irrigation. We do not plant potatoes with regular watering. It's difficult to run after the irrigator to ensure everything is watered evenly. You need skills for circular irrigation. We installed 2, but our land structure is clayey, so a crust forms. In one region it worked, in another it didn't. We have now changed it and are also conducting tests, but mainly it's sprinkler irrigation, which is the best for potatoes. We are assembling the system underground, gathering all the lines and creating a universal system. For example, we are already planting corn. We have all the vegetables, wheat, corn, and double cropping, yes. There are a few legumes and a little of this, but there is no underlay yet. More of these. Therefore, we want you to decide. Under rain-fed conditions, we have over 30. We'll see year by year. The average level is 50 tons, maybe another 10 tons. Well, of course, something like that. We bring them to large sizes, up to 50, even 200. But the average is still between 30 and 40.
Has the money been working?
Launched in 2019.
There was an opening. The order of investments.
Private.
How much was there?
I don't really know. Can it actually be calculated? No matter how this is done, whether through careful planning or spontaneous decision-making, it depends on whether it will cost about 10 million for the airplane, including all associated expenses like maintenance and fuel. It's hard for me to say definitively. However, I can learn from my experience in the fall, which taught me valuable lessons about budgeting and resource allocation. So we are diligently working on it.